Y'all want to listen to a brand new little intro? I haven't actually listened to it myself yet, but I am curious on what it sounds like. So y'all wanna listen to a new intro? Ah, I didn't hit that button, but that's okay. There we go. I need to open you up real quick. I got one more thing to do before I get that started. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Do, 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 do. Okay, let's find this. It is a sound bite, so we're gonna listen to this together. All right, that was it. So how did we feel about that one? If you guys have not already over on TikTok, send in your daily heart me. I don't know what you're doing yet. Send it in and collect your points. Must make that my intro, you think so? I mean, somebody made it for me, so thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah. You didn't like it? Oh, so mnemonic, there is an angrier version of it too. I could play that. Maybe I'll try it out on Monday for you guys. The angrier version of it. Well, it was a. Sorry, I can't read your name because the font's so small. It was a black man who made it for me, so I can see that, but I didn't make it for myself. Needs to be mixed a little and shortened a bit. I can give him that feedback. Hey, Ash. That's cool. Thank you. Just saying. Anyways, did you guys see? So obviously yesterday, hello placenta gators, yay. So yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of the CIA, Radcliffe, and FBI Director Kash Patel were all in front of the House, and then today they were in front of the Senate. Did you guys see any part of that? I think my favorite little clip of that one was this.
Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes.
That was probably my favorite little soundbite from that video, like from yesterday, is
okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes.
And it just kind of tracks. You know what I mean? It really kind of tracks. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love how people want to cope so hard and forget that I literally just got started. Oh no, you only have this many, and it's like, yeah, I just got started. Oh my god, what a big deal. Kramer, thank you for being on a 60 stream streak. Let's see, right there, 60 stream watch streak. Hey, welcome in. You, dude, demands every time. Well, Moose, good news is I have all of my things set up that it should work. But if this person comes up and says something stupid, everything should be working now, Neely, by the way. But I am curious. I forgot to open that up. Rip. No. Actually, I don't trust it with somebody I don't recognize. Yeah, that's how I felt. It's like, hold on. I don't trust it with somebody I don't recognize. Thanks, Kay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. All right. But yeah, did you guys like that little soundbite from yesterday? It's just, that sounds like the first cousin of a yes. We need to make that into the first cousin of a no, or maybe we need to get the soundbite of that's a damning non-answer for almost every single thing that occurs within the Senate and the House committees when it comes to anybody. And I'll say it this way, when it comes to anybody that is a cabinet appointee. because they never answer questions. I don't think so, Char. I don't think that would be messing up the stats. But I'm just saying, like, they all kind of suck when they go in and answer questions because they like to avoid it. And it is kind of funny on that one. Let's see. There was a few. Oh wait, did you guys see Donald Trump with the the Prime Minister of Japan today? Let me go find her thing because that was something. Where is it at? Okay, not in this chat. In the other one. Hopefully it is shared at the right moment. Let's find out together. Yeah. Why didn't anybody tell me? Oh, good. It didn't autoplay, which is fantastic. Sound is on. Let's put this on screen. We will move you down. Ah, put it above my head. That's fine.
Japan and US are very good friends, but one question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very...
Thank you so much, Kat. I had to look over. I was staring at the video above my head over to my left, and then all of a sudden I hear just this growl. I have to get you guys the clips of the videos I do or of the GIFs. Thank you so much, Kat. WCat in the chat. Yeah, it's like I was not expecting that. That was great. So what the reporter is asking him, because it was really hard to hear, is basically before we struck Iran, why did Trump and no one warn our allies ahead of time? And then he went through asking about like allies in Europe, allies in Asia, and then specifically mentioned Japan, and he's about to do that now.
confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what we, and much more.
And she has a look on her face like, I don't want to be here. And I don't know if you guys heard her. I didn't hear it the first time I watched the video either. But as he was going on about that, she went, like, oh, yeah, that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing today. And, you know, I don't, why is this, why are we the way we are? Or why is he the way he is? I guess is the correct question there. Yeah, it's like fucking, yeah, cringy. It was definitely cringy is a good way to put it. Hey, Aaron, thank you. Oh, yeah. It's like she had to have that realization that, oh yeah, this is Trump. You know, the person that I made friends with for whatever reason. It's just, oh my goodness. It's a bunch of interesting stuff. So interesting. Hi, everybody, as you are coming in. Yeah, you could see how uncomfortable she was. Like, you don't even need sound to see how uncomfortable she felt in that moment. There was a couple of other things that I saw today. Let me see if I can find anything juicy or anything just fun. I'm in the right spot already. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I remember telling you guys about this, right? That when you now go to the White House website, the first thing that prompts up is for you to sign up for email alerts. Well, the reason why I originally said that it's asking you to donate is because when you have the email alerts, that's exactly what your emails are about, is about donating. 1 second. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello. Okay. Well, you don't want to be there. I don't want you on the phone either. So we'll just go with that. All right, let's see. It always likes to start before I do this. And so this is actually an email that did get sent out. If you know, signed up for those things for whatever reason. If you signed up for them, you get these silly little emails, right? But we'll go ahead and put this up again. And we'll watch this next one. Is volume on? Volume is on.
And I just want to point out something that was released about 6 days ago. This is a fundraising email from the president of the United States. And in this email here, where there's multiple links to donate money, it says, as a national security briefing member, you'll receive my private national security briefings. Director Gabbard or Director Radcliffe, do you think the public should be able to, supporters of the president should be able to pay and receive his private national security briefings? I assume these are briefings, Director Radcliffe, that you provide to the president that is now going to be provided to somebody who makes a
regardless
donation.
of what that I don't know what that document is, but regardless of what it says, it didn't happen.
Well, no, this is new.
But what I'm telling you is that the Hatch Act would prevent me from in an apolitical role from engaging in that. I'm not aware that anything like that happened.
Yeah, this says unfiltered updates. So, Director Gabbard, do you have any comment on whether unfiltered updates of private national security briefings should be made to individuals that donate to the president?
I'm not familiar with that document, and
It's been made very public 6 days ago. We'll get you a copy here, because I agree with you, Director Ratcliffe, that the Hatch Act should prohibit this type of conduct.
And it should, and technically, legally, it does. But that doesn't prevent Trump from just doing whatever the hell he wants, right? So by sending emails saying, I'm going to do something, and you know, right? Like, let's be very clear. You know, people out there voted for it. Or not voted, paid for that. That's what I meant. Sorry, guys. Somebody out there paid for that. Right? Are you talking about, let me see, hold on. I see what you're saying. Oh, so it's just, it's a bad angle, Sonia. That was Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona. In front of him, you saw what it looked like he was sitting at Mr. Reed's, Senator Reed's nameplate. The reason for that is just the angle of the video. That happened yesterday as well in the confirmation hearing with Mark Wayne Mullen. Gosh, I can't remember the woman's name that Senator Moody's nameplate was in front of. So that did happen yesterday. It's just the angle that it's at. I'm going to need to make this darker. But I definitely get it. Yeah, no, I also understand that. I don't like that at all. That works way better. Or I can just take down that. And then change that back. Okay, sorry guys. And thank you, No4, for the jewels. I appreciate that. I'm trying to fix something and I do apologize, guys. My stuff is being all sorts of annoying. There, we'll just set it back to that. Yeah, I don't, let me check something. Okay, well, I hear that. So that should work then, is all that means. All right. But yeah, so it is quite disturbing that Donald Trump put out that email, or his campaign team or whoever it is put out that email. And I just, can you guys tell me, like, what is Donald Trump still campaigning for that he's asking the public for your donation? Can you guys answer that? What is he still campaigning for that he's asking for your donations? And yeah, he's campaigning for money. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, we're gonna do this, okay? I want you guys to see this again. We're just gonna go to the whitehouse.gov, right? That's a whole campaign video that comes up. Scroll. Let's see if we can just go to anywhere. Oh, am I no longer getting the email sign up prompt that was over on this side? Oh my God, thank goodness. Oh, it's either I hit reject far enough that they stopped doing it, or somebody told him, sir, you might want to cut down on your emails and figure that out and not do that first for a little bit. I don't know. But he finally took it down. I think it was about 3 weeks ago that I showed you guys the email blurb that popped up, like begging you to sign up for his emails on the White House website. It's just really weird to me. They like to do that. They can also request up kneeling since that is fixed. I did fix all of my things, so now we should be good. Thank you for calling the stream. Okay. Bob, I don't know why you thought he wouldn't bow down to puppeteers. Donald Trump became the swamp in his first term. Did you guys miss that memo? Like, Donald Trump became the swamp in his first term, and it just happens again. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Okay, bye. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello? Yeah, they just figured out how to dial the phone. You called back.
Hello?
Yeah, how can I help you? Can you hear me? The funny thing is I know you can because we tested this last night. I don't know. It's weird. Thank you for calling the stream. Thank you for calling the stream. Okay, we're going to try this then. Hello? Hello? All right. Well, that's a thing. Yeah, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Doesn't make sense. Well, I might just be talking to myself tonight. Hi, Mia. How we doing? Hello? Okay, we're back up.
I just have.
Okay, sorry about that. Phone lines are back open and wanted to make sure I had water because I forgot it earlier. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? 1 second. Okay, try that again. I'm sorry. Hello?
Yeah,
Awesome. How old are you?
52.
52. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yeah, yep.
All right.
Don't know why.
If you can
hear
tell me
why?
what specifically he's achieved since he's been back in office, as of last year, that has earned your continued support.
Yeah. Well, the libs are too weak to do anything, and
So
Trump
he hasn't
is
done
more of an
anything?
authoritative-
Sorry, dude, that doesn't
What?
even make sense. I asked you what Donald Trump
I get
has
one word out.
achieved.
Wait, I get one word out and you interrupt me. You want to hear it or not?
Sir, when you start with the libs, you've already invalidated your entire point by going the libs. So when I'm asking you
libs.
what has he achieved and you start with the libs, you're going off the rails already.
No, It's factual.
How about
but,
you just
all right, I'll
talk
try
about
to
Donald
avoid saying
Trump
it's
without
valid.
bringing in the other party because it's ridiculous?
It's not ridiculous, but
Okay.
okay.
Well, I'm going to challenge you
so-
that not once in this entire conversation for you to bring up the Democrats or the libs, okay?
That's going to be tough, but all right.
Oh,
I'll
that's
give it
going
a
to be
shot.
tough. Yeah, that makes sense. Should I put on a timer to see how long you last?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay, we'll
interesting. Let's
see.
do it. All right, so the U.S. dollar, right? We're in 39 trillion now. It grows by about a trillion every 90 days. And all the other countries, at first I was curious about the Iran war and what that was all about, but now I realize what it's about. And the American economy is going to collapse. So all the other countries, like Brazil, China, I guess Iran, some of the other Middle Eastern ones, not the ones that are allied with us, like Saudi, Qatar, I don't know, some of these other ones that are aligned with us. But in any event, all these other countries are dropping the dollar. Right now, you can't get oil unless you use the U.S. dollar. So they were all dropping the dollar. So Trump, wisely, is like, well, that's not going to happen under my watch. So he has to take control of the dollar and the petrodollar. So he has to take control of everything going over there. And if he does not, all the free stuff that you live, there we go,
Wow, it lasted
people in
longer than I
America-
thought. 68 seconds.
I know that's pretty long. All the free stuff that people in America love is not going to be. It's like we will lose probably 80% of the comfortable lifestyle that we're used to here, and Trump understands it. So I was a little bit hesitant at the war in Iran at first, but now I realize what he's up to.
Sure. So I'm sorry, I missed. What did he achieve in that diatribe that you just went down?
Trying to save America, basically.
Saving
So
America
the
from
other-
what?
Total economic
sorry.
collapse.
If we are trying
through
to
all
do
the
something,
free
sorry,
handouts.
I want to correct you on something.
Immigration, free
Hold on.
immigration handouts, like
One second.
the fraud that
Okay.
Nick Shirley found in California with the hospice care, all that stuff.
Yeah, I know you're upset. You guys are obsessed with Nick Shirley. It's quite weird that you're obsessed with a 23-year-old. So I'm going to correct you on something. I'm going to correct you on something.
fraud on both sides.
Oh my goodness. I want to correct you on something. I asked you what Donald Trump has achieved. When you start with, you use the word trying to in the sentence, right? Those two words in that sentence. That's not an achievement. That is an attempt to do something. Do you understand the difference between those two words?
Well, so far we're still standing.
Okay. So you haven't found any
After the
achievements,
4 years.
sir.
No,
Then what specifically has he
He's kept us going.
achieved?
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. That's
Then
one of
what
them.
specifically has he achieved? We have now been on the phone for 4 minutes, so I've been asking you that this
So
entire time.
he achieved the prevention of the U.S. petrodollar from collapse.
How so?
I
What
just explained it.
specifically? No, you're making a statement, and I'm asking for specifics within that statement.
So China, Brazil, a couple other countries, I think Russia perhaps, were going off the U.S. dollar. They were buying up gold, no longer buying the U.S. dollar, no longer buying treasuries, no longer buying oil in U.S. dollars, and he put an end to it
How?
by attacking Iran.
And then
And
also
not
releasing
allowing-
the sanctions from them
What's
so
that?
that everybody can buy.
that?
Sorry, that he also did you not know that he released sanctions off of Iran today? So everybody is
He
able to
released,
purchase.
sanctions off
He
of
is-
Russia too, so we can get
and
oil from
Iran.
Russia,
Yeah, I'm
which is a
aware.
smart move.
I'm aware.
And that's
I'm
also
aware.
a smart move. That's
But
another
we're
good
talking
move that
about
he did.
Iran.
We're talking about, why do you say it like that? What did you say?
Because that's
What
the
did you just
proper way
say?
to pronounce it.
Did you say Iran?
Yes.
Did you say Iran? What is up with you? What's up with that?
Okay. So Donald Trump released the sanctions off of Iran so that they can start selling their oil to
Iran
everywhere.
again? You say Iran again? Iran. Can you say it the right way?
That is the correct
Well,
way.
all right. All right. You say your way. Go ahead. What did he do to Iran?
Iran
Yes.
sanctions on their oil is now lifted because of Donald J. Trump. He did that today. So how is he preventing any other country from purchasing their oil outside of USD? Because China was already doing that. There was already 9 million barrels of oil that had made their way, 90 million barrels of oil that had already made their way to China since during the time when Iran was announced that they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. And so that's how it's
So
been.
now,
They've been still able to, China is still getting their oil from Iran, period, point blank. They've always been doing that. They've been buying it outside of USD because USD is not the world currency for the BRICS nations that has been in
yeah,
existence
that's going to be a
for
problem.
over
That's
almost
going to
20
be a
years.
major problem for all the
Okay.
freebies that
But
everyone here in
your
America
point
loves.
was, now to circle this back to the point that you were making, is that you said that Donald Trump somehow achieved in bringing back the world to the US dollar, except I'm explaining
Yep,
to you that he has not, because China is still
he has.
purchasing Iranian
Nope,
oil.
no, no. And also,
What
he's got that
proof?
Venezuelan
Yeah.
oil, too.
Which is
So he's
still
got
being
that,
sold to
too.
other people outside of USD. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know
No,
you're
it's going to
great.
be
Like,
sold
oh
in
no,
USD. No, it's being sold in USD.
what proof do you have that China
You need
bought 90 million
what's
barrels of oil? Listen, what
it's
proof do you have?
Venezuela's being sold in USD
Oh
now,
my
too. So
goodness.
he's got it going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never convince you. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's just say
I would like for you to
that
actually answer my
there
question that was
no,
on
I
your
want you
point.
to just listen. There's no convincing you.
I'm
It's
not asking you to
impossible. Listen,
convince me. I'm not even trying to convince you.
you are.
All I am
You want a
doing is
peer-reviewed paper
all I am
with this
doing
and
is
that and the other thing. It doesn't matter
pressuring
what I
your
say.
sir. The reason why it's
No,
so
ma'am.
uncomfortable for someone like
Ma'am,
you
it
to
doesn't matter.
speak to somebody like me is because I am pressuring your belief system. And it does feel uncomfortable when your belief system is pressured, questioned, and encouraging you to do critical thinking. So when I'm asking you specific questions, I do it for a reason. So now I am trying to ask you is what proof do you have that Iran sold 90 million barrels of oil in the last 3 weeks, 20 days, and China purchased it with USD?
There is no proof.
There is
that
no
I
proof. Grant, fantastic. Thank you. So because there is no proof that you can find, I want to be clear that means that your achievement that you're crediting to Donald Trump for somehow alleviating everyone using anything but USD to purchase oil is not true. That is still not an achievement because it's not something that he's managed to do. Can
So
you
that's why I
understand
want to do a thought
that?
experiment. I would
Can you
love to do a
understand
thought
that though?
experiment because there
I
is
will
zero proof.
engage, sir. I will engage with you in your thought experiment if you can admit, because you are lacking in any evidence, that China bought 90 million barrels of oil from Iran for with the purchase of United States dollars. Can you concede that you were wrong?
No, you're wrong.
Okay, so you're not able to concede. So let me try answering or rephrasing the question. We're going to restate it, okay? I asked you, what has he achieved in order that has earned your continued support? You said that he's pressured and brought the world back to utilizing the United States dollar. You brought up China and Iranian oil, right? And I brought up the fact that we lifted sanctions. I also brought up the fact that 90 million barrels of oil still traveled to China from Iran, and it was purchased outside of USD. Do you have, because you're saying, your claim was that China and Russia are utilizing the US dollar. So and you've acknowledged that you have no proof that China purchased 90 million barrels of oil from Iran with United States dollars. So why is it that you can no longer accept that your premise is wrong?
All right, are we ready to engage in this thought experiment? Or you
Can
still
you
going?
answer
Y'all
my
done now?
question?
Are we ready? Here we go. So all of the free stuff, all the quote unquote free healthcare, free housing, the 81,000
100 MAGA versus consent. That's what this is.
All of all that free millions of dollars of hospice care that Nick Shirley exposed in California, and the $1 million businesses.
Hey, can you?
Of them in,
Hey, have you? I have a great
all
question
that
for you.
free stuff,
I have a great
all that
question
free
for
stuff
you. I have a great
is
question
actually
for you.
not free.
So I have a
guys
great
like all that
question
free
for you.
stuff.
I have
You
a
guys
great
like all that
question for
money.
you.
So
I
how
have
are
a
you
great
guys gonna
question for
continue
you.
the
I have a
Ponzi
great
scheme
question for
without
you.
the
You've already
petro
moved
dollars?
off of a
How are you
thought
gonna do it?
experiment. You've already moved off
How
of
are
the
you gonna
thought
do it?
experiment. You've already moved off the thought
No, here's the
experiment.
question.
Hey,
If
I
if
have
the U-
I
no,
have
I
I
can't
have a
even get a word
question.
out. If the
I have a
U.S. is going to
question
collapse
because
economically
people are
and
here to
there's
listen
no
to me,
more
not
money,
you.
and we
So I
become a
don't really
third
know
world
what to tell you
country,
on that one.
are
I
you
know. I
for
know. It's
that
so
or against
difficult.
that?
It's so
Would you be
difficult.
in
It's
favor
so
of
difficult.
living in a mud hut with no
So,
running
oh
water,
goodness.
no money? Are you
Oh
into that or are you
goodness.
not into
Yeah.
that?
So, hey, what's a strip mall?
Are you into
Oh,
no
you don't have
money?
an answer for that. Have you
Basically,
ever
can't go
heard?
to the
So, I
grocery
have a
store and
question
get
for you.
food.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you. We'll try this again.
Roads aren't paved.
I'll
Are
ask
you
you this
into that type of
again. We'll try
lifestyle?
this again. I
No
know.
police
I know. It's
force
so hard to be told.
to protect
I know it's
citizens.
so hard to be
Are you into
told.
that?
I know it's so hard to be told
You
that you're
need
wrong.
to
I
you need
understand.
to travel
I know it's so
to a third
difficult.
world
It is very
country
difficult.
before
It's
you can be
so difficult.
adamant in your belief
It's so
system.
difficult. I know. I know, Pookie. It's so hard.
Yeah, I know,
I know,
Kelly.
Pookie.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Thank
I
you.
know. So what's a
I
strip
agree.
mall?
So you agree with me?
What's a strip mall?
So do you like all those
What's a strip
entitlements?
mall?
You enjoy those?
What's
Do
a
you
strip
enjoy
mall?
entitlements?
What is a strip
Do
mall?
you enjoy entitlements?
What is a strip
Do
mall?
you? I can do this game too. Do you enjoy?
I mean, you can, but ain't nobody going to be hearing you when you do this. So here's what it is, right? Because I actually watched that. Unfortunately, I watched that full Nick Shirley video that dude is rambling on about. And so what Nick Shirley thought he exposed, right? He went to medical billers, right? Medical billing offices in a strip mall. It's not necessarily a strip mall. It's more of a it's more of a complex that actually house business offices, just business offices that don't usually see a lot of foot traffic, right? Medical billers work without directly seeing people 90% of the time, right? A business park. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, right? So it's a business park. And I know that's a very difficult concept for you, right? So, right? He went to a business park, which is not a hospice facility. They are medical billers. So they are people that they are the third party company that's hired by a hospice company to send the medical billing to Medicare or Medicaid, right? That's what their job is. So they get it through a billing portal. They receive their information from people through a billing portal, typically. Email address, secured email, right? And everything like that, okay? They don't see anybody. They don't look at patients. They don't perform anything on patients. They don't assist patients. They don't see patients. They're the people that get told by a hospice facility, this is what work we did or what we want to send to Medicaid, Medicare, and ask for reimbursement for the charges or the services that we rendered / provided, right? And then he went to a place that he called what he thought was like a hospice, a company that was going to help you set up a hospice center, right? Or a hospice company. What that company is they speak to patients that are looking to enter hospice care, gets the in-home nurses, right? The at-home nurses, right? They help individuals find hospice centers or at-home RNs, home hospice care. That's what they went to. And he went to them to try to get advice, right? Because he doesn't know how to read a fucking sign. He went to them to try to get advice on how to set up or open a new hospice center in California. He didn't expose any fraud. You just prove that you're a gullible little twat. Okay?
Am I still on mute, or do you want me to respond?
No, you don't need to respond. I'm just explaining to you that you're a dum-dum.
Okay, so the American people aren't buying.
Do you just believe everything that you see on YouTube?
Listen,
You just believe everything that you see on YouTube that like reaffirms your confirmation bias, right? It's very similar. Like, so I don't know if you guys remember this either, but Nick Shirley also went to a UPS office, right? An office of UPS, also in California, if I remember correctly. And then he shows like, guys, look, there's this UPS office. And see, like, if you look at it, here it is. And there's like 113 people registered to vote here. If you actually look up that address and you look above the UPS office, it's a fucking apartment building. Holy shit! Holy shit. But I bet you believe him so well, right? You believe this 23-year-old boy that went out to California. You believe him that somehow 113 people are registered to vote from a UPS office, right?
I believe my eyes when I see a sketchy.
Do you believe
Oh,
okay. So now it's a sketchy apartment complex, guys. That's the cope. That's got to be the cope. The building actually was pretty well maintained. I don't know what you're talking about, but you guys just actually have to look things up. I know it's so easy to dig in and like die on the hill of your confirmation bias, but he doesn't know anything. Nick Shirley didn't even expose any fraud in Minnesota. He went to, like, I don't know if you've ever been to a daycare center, but if you go up and you're banging on their door, or like you're going up with a crowd of grown-ass men around you, why the fuck would daycare center employees let you into the building when you don't have kids and they don't recognize you because you're not there to pick up a child? Like, hello? And then one of the daycare centers that he went up to that had like a close sign, if you look it up, they went out of business 2 years before he went up to them. Holy, for fuck's sake. Oh yeah, and the medical professional is that he interviewed, I remember that one too, is a woman who's actually a dentist that admitted on television that she purposely would give people fucking too much laughing gas. Yeah, literally. So this is the woman, right? We'll actually put this up. Okay. This is the woman that Nick Shirley interviewed, who is a Medicare billing expert. She's actually a dentist who makes a joke about overdosing people with laughing gas, who said that they don't support Trump. Or sorry, not overdosing. They were giving them less laughing gas so they would feel more pain. She's a fucking dentist, not a Medicare or Medicaid biller. This is her.
A Santa Clarita dentist defending herself over a video that's now gone viral. The clip shows her joking about giving different care to patients who aren't Trump supporters.
So I have a secret hat I use sometimes. It says, "Make your smile great again." So I wear that when I work on my patients. So when they look horrified or complain, I quietly cut back on the laughing gas.
Dr. Harleen Graywall's office posted the video 2 years ago. Recently, it began circulating on social media. In an interview yesterday, Dr. Graywall said the controversy is being driven by someone trying to, quote, cancel her.
They asked me if I had said that, and I said, yes, I said it in one of my roasting speeches at a women's Republican
Roasting
group.
speeches. Everything's a joke. Hey guys, I don't know if you forgot about this, but jokes are supposed to be funny. And if you think it's funny to joke about medical malpractice, because that's what that would be if you get caught and if you get sued for it, and I hope to hell that any non-Trump supporting person that went to her dental office sues the fuck out of her, because that discovery is going to be fantastic. Jokes are supposed to be funny. It's funny to actually put people through pain. Yeah, that makes sense. I actually, you know what? I do agree. MAGA definitely does believe that. That is a joke to put people through pain. Caller is an example of that, but I'll put him out of his misery. Bye-bye. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm walking.
You're a child. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello. And see, the other thing that I absolutely enjoy watching people do in comment sections on videos, like all videos, I'm not talking about mine. I barely read y'all's comments, to be honest, unless you're a member on like commenting on my videos, because I get notifications for those ones. 1 second. Thank you for calling the stream. Anyway, I love the comments that are like, if you don't like Trump, then you hate America and you should leave. Did you have that same feeling under any other president that you didn't like or you didn't vote for? I bet you didn't, because you're still in the United States. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's what that is. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
What's up?
Hi, how old are you?
29.
Okay, are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yeah, but before we continue, can I just get some political insight of your political values? I'm new to your channel. I kind of don't know where you stand.
I'm a secular humanist. Does that help?
Sure.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'm 29.
So what
I voted
specifically has
for-
Donald Trump achieved in his first year back in office that has earned your continued support?
I voted for Hillary, Biden, and Kamala. I don't support
That's not
Trump.
what I asked. Oh, you don't support Trump? Well, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes,
Awesome. How old are you?
33.
33. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes.
What specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his first 14 months back in office that has earned your continued support?
I think he's achieved more and more confidence over time with the people that voted for him for the reasons they voted for him. I believe that he is kind of doing what he said he would do. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Uh-huh.
That's why I'm still supporting Trump.
We'll help you out with that one real quick.
Sure.
Tell me if any of this sounds familiar.
I am the candidate of peace. I am peace. People don't believe that. I am peace.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
We do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance.
Kamala is campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? She picks Liz Cheney, whose father virtually destroyed the Middle East. You know, Liz Cheney, she talks big, oh, I want war. She always wants war. Every time I was with her in the White House, we should attack this nation, that nation, nations that people never even heard of, we should attack. She's a big tough guy. She sits back in Washington, oh, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everybody. These war hawks, they want to draft your kids to die in wars. and they will never fight themselves. You know, we'll stay around the country for 15 years, just bomb the hell out of everybody, make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there, you know, the wars that never end. These endless wars that we've been in, I've gotten us out of so many. We don't want to get into wars. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Under Trump, we will have no more wars. No more wars. No more wars. We will have prosperity and peace. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Remember, I'm the president of peace. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. He's going to start a war. I said, no, no, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by...
Sorry, couldn't hear you over the video. I'm sorry, what? A montage of all of him ever, like, this was, by the way, this isn't just his campaign promises and people speaking on behalf of his campaign. There was at least 4 clips from after he was elected into office, still bragging about being the president of peace and that he wasn't going to start any new wars. So that's even further into him not breaking it, like, him trying to uphold his campaign promise of no new wars, and if you elect Kamala Harris, she will start a war with Iran. That's actually what J.D. Vance literally said out of his goddamn mouth. Also, I didn't even bring up the groceries, but groceries are more expensive too. So I'm sorry, how exactly is he keeping all of his campaign promises?
I believe his motto throughout
You're
his
already
campaign
wrong when
was-
you start off the sentence with I believe.
Why?
Why? Because that doesn't, like, your belief in something doesn't make it true.
I didn't say it did. I just said I believe.
Yeah, so that's why I said you're already wrong.
I think that's a false statement. But anyways, I believe the follow-up to every time he said peace and he won't bring new wars, he also said he's going to bring peace. How? How did he say he would bring peace? Through what?
Go on.
Peace through strength.
Oh,
That
every
is
single
what
time he said
America
that?
has always been.
Yeah.
That is
But
what
but at the
America
same
has
time,
always
I'm
been.
sorry. I'm so
Excuse me,
sorry.
can I
I'm
say
so
more than
sorry.
3
I'm so
sentences or
sorry.
no?
I'm so
Why
sorry.
did I call him
Are
in
you
on
trying to say that, wait, so saying
You're not gonna
peace
allow
through
me to talk
strength
whatsoever?
somehow invalidates his comment of no new wars? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
No.
that
I
when
want
he
you
was
to
talking
directly, this is a yes or no binary question. I'm sure you understand what that means. Binary
I'm
question.
sure you understand what non-binary.
Yeah. Binary question. When you say no new
You don't allow
wars
me to
and then
talk.
put a comma, no, hold on, and then put a next
No, I won't.
sentence.
'Cause
Okay, well, you can keep screaming then. Go ahead. Get it all out. Go on, Pookie. Be a good boy. Go ahead. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, good. You do know. Oh, no. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to be clear that when Donald Trump said, I will be the president of peace, there will be no new wars, no new wars, no new wars. And after that, he said that it would be peace through strength that somehow invalidates the no new war claim.
absolutely.
Oh, that invalidates it. So which part is the lie? Is it the peace through strength that's a lie or the no new wars that's a lie?
I'm sorry. I thought you said validate, not invalidate.
Invalidate.
No, I don't. I don't agree with that.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it
So which
validates
part is
everything he
incorrect
said.
then? Is it the peace through strength part that's incorrect or the no new wars part that's incorrect? Because you can't have both and then have them both be true at the same time.
Correct.
Correct. So which
What
part was he lying about?
politician- what
Which part was
politician
he
has
lying
never
about?
had
Which
that
part was
happen
he
to them?
lying about?
Can you name a single?
Which, oh, now we're going down the, who hasn't lied? Sir. I want to remind you to when you called in and you said, Donald Trump is keeping all of his campaign promises. So I'm sorry. Are you saying that you lied
That's
when
the
you said,
main.
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry? Are you then saying that you lied when I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry? Are you saying that you lied when you said Donald Trump keeps all of his campaign promises?
Was I lying? No, that is the reality of the situation.
That's the reality of the
Speaking what he
situation.
said.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. It's the reality of the situation. But no new wars followed by peace through strength means that no new wars isn't a valid comment anymore. Do you want to keep pretzeling yourself further?
Would you rather?
Oh no, this isn't,
sit
sorry.
back and wait?
This isn't a what if time to go into then or if then. This isn't that time to go down your hypothetical situation. I am pressuring you on what you said. I know that makes you uncomfortable. Trust me. Like, I understand that it is an uncomfortable situation to be pressured on what your belief system is. The reason I do this is the days that I do this is because I actively engage in pressuring my own belief system by talking to individuals that believe the almost exact opposite of me, right? Like almost the exact opposite. I'm not going to say like complete opposite, but I'm just saying almost like definitely not on the same wavelength as me. That's for sure, right? So Donald Trump made his campaign all about being the president of no new wars. You said that he also followed up his no new wars claim with peace through strength. And then you acknowledge that those two are not synonymous by what you're saying. And you've already had to acknowledge that, in fact, Donald Trump has lied about there not being no new wars occurring while he has been president. So I'm so sorry. Were you lying when you said, this is a binary question again, yes or no, were you lying when you said that Donald Trump kept all of his campaign promises?
No, I wasn't lying.
You weren't lying. Oh, okay, got it. So it just ain't mathing out for you, right? You don't understand it, huh?
I believe he has kept his promise of peace through strength.
No. How about his no new wars promise?
If a new war has to start to maintain the peace of strength, like every other
That wasn't what he
president
promised.
before him in American history.
All
what
the
they
other
should do.
presidents did this, so listen to me. It's okay because Donald Trump did it too.
No, it's about our country. And the
Did he
reason I'm
break
allowed-
his no new wars promise, yes or no?
Can I get one sentence in?
Did
or
he
no?
break his no new wars promise, yes
if I
or
can't
no?
talk,
Did he
there's no reason
break
to do
his
this.
no new wars promise, yes or no?
If he has to create a war and start a new war by doing peace through strength, he is still maintaining his promise of peace through strength.
By breaking his no new wars promise.
If he has to go to war to maintain peace of strength, that is valid.
By breaking his no new wars promise.
Are you not hearing my answer to that?
So the answer is yes. Oh, actually, hold on. I have this one. Oh, wait, hold on. I have this one. Guys, are you ready?
Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes. Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes. Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes. Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes. Okay, that's sort of the first cousin of a yes.
Ooh, sounds like he lied and he broke his promise. Ooh, that must hurt.
Doesn't hurt because
Oh, it should, because that means you also lied. I'm sorry. That means you also lied when you said that Donald Trump was keeping all of his. Oh, no, I'm having a great time understanding you. You are having a hard time staying logically consistent with any point that you make because this is what you're doing.
Sort of the first cousin of a yes.
No, you're not on any pro
that's
level of anything.
Sort of the first cousin of a yes.
Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. This is what you're a pro at. Are you ready? This is what you're a pro at. You are a pro at pretzeling yourself. You are a pro at pretzeling yourself by trying to say that Donald Trump somehow.
not
Yeah.
pro, macro.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm telling you that you are a pro. I already heard what you said. I'm telling you that you are a pro at pretzeling yourself into trying to, yeah, because I don't have to listen to you, my guy. I don't know if you realize that yet. Okay. You are a pro at pretzeling yourself. That's what it is for you. You're just a pro at pretzeling yourself. I know, it makes you so upset.
If it wasn't for
Uh-huh.
many presidents keeping
Yeah. And here's the further pretzel. Guys, it's okay because other presidents did it. So here we go. It's okay that Donald Trump broke his promise of no new wars. Oh no, it's okay because other presidents did it too. So it's okay.
if other presidents didn't do that, you literally would not be in the seat you're in right now speaking the language.
You don't know that. I'm sorry. Are you a clairvoyant? Are you clairvoyant? Are you clairvoyant?
You do.
Are you clairvoyant?
History.
Are you clairvoyant? Are you clairvoyant?
Are you clairvoyant?
No. Are you clairvoyant?
No.
Oh, okay. So you don't know that. Thanks. I love it when people say, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this. Like, how do you know? You actually don't, because somebody else could have come along. It might have taken another couple years. It might have taken another decade. Just saying. I know. I always trigger MAGA when I do something like that. I couldn't help it. Yeah, guys, his volume was low for me too. I had to turn it up on my end as high as it could go for me to hear him. And I mean like higher than the red bar. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Is that supposed to hurt my feelings, child? You should really try to not get so close to your phone, because all it sounds like that you're doing, it sounds like you are eating your microphone. Take your microphone out of your mouth, child, and then say it with your full chest. Okay? Child, I know you are child. I'm going to help you out with something. Okay, you hung up. You are a child and you are trying to make sure that your parents don't hear you. Just own it with your full chest. If it gets you in trouble, perhaps you shouldn't be 12 calling somebody on the internet. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
I am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 47.
47. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I am.
Okay, give me 1 second, all right?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. Okay.
No worries.
And what specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his first year back in office that has earned your continued support?
His lack of political agendas. He's not a historically, politician, and I like how he's just straight up.
That's not an achievement.
No BSer.
That's not an achievement. That's, I guess you could call it a personality trait.
To it. I know you like to interrupt.
Well, no, it's just a non-answer to my question, right? I ask a very direct question that is phrased very specifically for a reason, and that was a non-answer to the question that I asked. So I would I don't need the upwards. Let's see. I don't need your introduction speech into why you support Donald Trump, right? I just want to know what specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his 14 months back in office that has earned your continued support.
He's eliminating illegal immigrants.
So because you have to do an ing, that's not an achievement. That's something that he's continuing to work on doing, which isn't a finalized.
So I didn't hear what you first said.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So when you're doing an
No,
ing, that means that that's a continuation. That's not an achievement. That's not something that is actually successful that already happened, closed end book, right? So, and it's a weird
can I ask you
choice
a
of
question?
phrasing that you
Can I ask you
utilize
a
the word
question?
eliminating. It's a very troublesome word that you just used.
Can
What's your
I ask
question?
you a question?
Sure. What's your
I-
question?
I'm new. I just stumbled upon your, page.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, your outlook so I could be enlightened about other people's opinions and stuff, just so I could further, because I don't want to be one-sided. I wanted to know, like, your thoughts,
What is your question?
What are your beliefs? Like,
On
so you don't
what?
support Trump. I just wanted to know, like, why, so I can, like, learn and further educate myself, because that's what I strive to do. I want to be educated on other people's thoughts.
Okay. Okay. I don't support a
You
president that
have an opinion?
I'm trying to answer one part of your question, right? I don't support a president that actively goes against articles and amendments of the United States Constitution and constantly threatens our allies. I also just don't support a president that has no qualms about embarrassing himself on the world stage. And yeah, that also means Joe Biden before you go there. So it's cool. But
Yeah,
and for what
here.
what my belief system might be, and I put that in quotations, the closest you could get would be secular humanism.
Could you define that? Because I've never really, I guess, heard of that.
Yeah. So it's a worldview that doesn't require religion for us to see people as human, right? And doesn't expect any kind of religious aspect to trickle into laws or how we treat people.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay.
That's just the
Well, that's
easiest way that I can
respectful.
explain that to you.
No, I get that. No, I appreciate that. I'm not closed-minded. I'm not a Trump Bible thumper, I'm not a political person, really. I just believe in do good and be good, you know. But so just coming upon your page, it was just a little alarming because you aren't allowing really anybody to speak their opinion, which I just gave you. I just allowed you to speak your opinion, which you don't really ever do. You just interrupt people and talk baby talk. So I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, and I don't really know yet. I'm still learning. So
Sure. I don't know how long you've
but
been
what you
in the
just
live.
said was
Oh,
important.
okay. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. There is a little bit of a delay between you and I. So when I heard a pause, I assume what you were already doing or already talking. It's about 5-second delay. So I do apologize for interrupting you there. But here's the thing. I don't know how long you've been in the live. The very first guest came up and called me with zero intent to have a actual legitimate conversation, right? And I could tell that by the way he was talking, and then it came out point blank in his answers, right? The second guy was evading the question and not answering it, and then showed faulty logic and then continued to interrupt me as I was talking as well. And what I tend to do is I match energy. And yeah, sometimes I get a little bit too sarcastic, and I will talk that way to them where I was utilizing baby voice. That's actually very rare for me. I don't typically
Yeah.
baby voice unless I'm doing it to read a Trump True Social post, right?
Yeah.
And
So did
I
you do the
do.
same thing when? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there are times though when somebody is not answering my question. And so at that point, when I know that my question is not being answered, I will cut them off so that they avoid going into a diatribe or a gish gallop.
Understood. No, I get that. So did you do the same thing when Biden was in office, and then when Obama, so forth, so on?
No, you could actually look at the age of my channel like my YouTube channel didn't start until January of 2025 because TikTok was
okay.
ending.
Gotcha. So if you had your choice, who would you want to be president, or do you consider there ever to be a good president in past history, you know?
A good president in past history, I can base it off of what historians have said. And oh gosh, I don't remember who they actually ranked the number one, and I don't know if I would necessarily agree with them either. No, I think that there's always been too much of a warmonger mentality when it comes to individuals that have been in the office of the president.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really appreciate your time when trying to stir up trouble. I just wanted to know your intent, and I appreciate the candor. Thank you.
Of course, not a problem.
Take care.
You too. I'm not gonna hate on it. She was nice. I do apologize for starting off that way. She wasn't here to have that kind of conversation, and I get it. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how old are you?
13.
Thank you. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 16. But before you hang up, I want to be here to learn because I'm trying to be an informed young man as I go into this world.
Okay. Make it real short.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I want to know why I should not support this man that's currently in this office because what I've seen on the internet, which I'm starting to see more and more as a less reliable source, is that people are basically going around insulting each other, not really coming around to make a good point, and I can't really find any reliable information on that. And when I see people who can actually talk, have a good conversation, I want to learn from that person. So I want to ask you that.
Okay.
That's an intelligent question.
Yeah. So do me a favor. And sorry, WCat, thank you so much for the jet. So I'm gonna rephrase the question for you, or how did that come up? Hold on. Better? Same. Can I never hit that button again? That doesn't make sense. Any better? Wait, I have to let you go. Sorry, I have to fix my audio. But as far as where to get reliable information, I'm going to say, oh, I see why. There, that should fix it, guys. Never mind, I fixed it. That should be it. I see what it did. I see what it did. Placenta raid. Okay. All right. So that was a TikTok glitch. I hate TikTok. Okay. It's glitch talk. Okay. So when it comes to how you can get information, I would say the best way to do it is to check the media bias of the place that you're looking at, right? And go from there. You can do it multiple different ways. There is a website called All Sides that's ran by an independent, a Democrat, and a Republican. So it stays impartial that way. They rate the media bias of each website, and they'll even rate the media bias of an article. Same with Media Bias Fact Check. They will do the exact same thing. So that's kind of what I use to find if someone has, I think I just maybe broke that. No, that's back. Never mind. That's what I utilize to see if something has a leaning bias and then what their factuality rating is, because it'll tell you that too on Media Bias Fact Check. And that's probably the best way to go about doing it as far as staying informed. You just got to do research and dig into things. But I do have to let you go because TikTok doesn't let me to talk to someone under the age of 18. But I do
Okay,
appreciate,
real quick. Can you repeat the name of that site again?
yeah, Media Bias Fact Check and All Sides Media. All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I'm independent. I mean, I voted for Hillary and Trump 2 times.
So are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I would say I'm agnostic.
All right, thank you. Okay, not the caller I was looking for. I do have a couple of thank yous to give real quick. Arcus or Axorus, sorry. Thank you for the 10 over on, well, you know where. And let's see. I have a couple of chats to read through here. Matt sent me a message and said, but the thought experiments. I doubt Matt is even still here. He likes to come in and abandon me occasionally. I didn't want to open you. Don't open. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I sure am. Hello? Hello?
Sorry, my mixer opened and it then broke it. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
I am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am wonderful 55.
Okay. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I am.
Okay. Can you make sure to turn down the stream in the background? I just heard it.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I just heard my voice and I was like, ah. Thank you, Lady Heart. Okay. And what specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his 14 months back in office that has earned your continued support?
All right, so I just want to make sure I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I know your question is focused at a specific subject, but I'd like to say that I support every president who's ever been in office because America elected that president. That doesn't mean I agree with a lot of their policies and the things that they do, but all I can judge it on is how has my life been since I've lived and experienced
Thank you, Jody.
everything that our government has done. And I'll tell you.
So would
it's
you
not
support
positive.
Jeffrey Dahmer if he was president?
Well, no, he would never get to be president.
That doesn't matter. Would
mean,
you
that's
support Jeffrey
that's
Dahmer if he was
ridiculous.
president?
Hold on, that's ridiculous. Like, we need to get to
How
the
is
root
that
of the
ridiculous?
problem.
People voted in a felon already. Like, there is absolutely no telling that they couldn't vote in a felon again in some other capacity. So,
See, this is where I see that you are actually part of the problem.
I'm part of the problem.
We should be looking, yes, because we should be looking at the bigger picture here. How do these people get into office in the first place? You know,
Then that makes me part of the problem.
They divide us. They divide everyone here who's an American citizen. They're, you know, none of them actually believe in Democratic or Republican. They use that as a story, a punchline to create confusion and division to overcome and divide. That's the problem. And it's our problem as citizens. It doesn't matter what party you belong to, you're being lied to. We are all being lied to. And
How
that's
did
the
I just
real
divide
problem.
something?
I'm sorry, what?
Hi, how did I just divide something?
No, the government's dividing people
Well, then how am I the problem?
because you think you have it all figured out, and you're
Oh, I've
siding
never
with
said
a
that.
side. You're siding with a side that
What side am I
is
on?
lying to you.
What side am I on?
Left.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because I've witnessed everything you're talking about. Like you're so against
Like what
Donald Trump.
specifically?
You are so against Donald Trump, and you're against the Republican Party.
How?
Like
Give a
that's obvious
specific
to see.
example. What have I said
That
specifically?
again, you're bringing you were not looking at the bigger picture, which is what I'm trying
No,
to talk
sir.
about here.
Sir,
You
what
you want to bring
specifically?
it down to
No, stop. Don't divert away from this, please. What specifically have I said that you believe meant that I think all Republicans bad or that I hate Donald Trump?
Okay. I will debate and say that's fair. You did not specifically say anything during this that would lead me to say what I said. So I retract that respectfully. But
Thank you.
at the same time, I know your show, like you target specific little microbes of what's going on right now
That's just my
instead of stepping
autism.
back and looking at the bigger picture, because the only way we can change anything within the government is we need to step back and look at it from a wider picture, and my life hasn't been very good as a middle class citizen, working every day, never been fired from a job, never took any unemployment, never took anything from the government. But yet I don't feel the government's looking after me. I think they're exploiting me. And they're using these things and taking my tax dollars and they're misspending them. And that's where I have a problem. And that's where everybody should be looking. Not at the latest news on the TV and social media. Like that keeps us diverted and distracted. All I'm saying is we need to encourage everyone to be and know we need each other. But also know we have differences, but there has to be a sense of common sense. Prioritize list. Let's have responsible spending. We don't have any of that going on right now, and people are feeling it. That's why we're so divided. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. So, how does spending how does spending $22 billion on a war of choice help the American people? And how is the Pentagon asking for an additional $200 billion helping the American people?
I don't necessarily think. I mean, in some ways it is, because our government's a corporation. It's a business. It's no longer, we the people. That's what I'm trying to say.
I want to dig in on this one real quick. You said the United States is a business.
It is.
It is. What is
It's
the
a corporation.
purpose? What is the purpose of a business?
Business either has a service or a product or
What is the
something that is a need that people will consume.
That's what they do. But I said, what is the purpose of a business?
But that's different than a government.
So then the government is not a business.
But that's what I'm saying. Our government has changed from a government to a business.
Okay,
That's
so what's the purpose of a business?
To conquer, to just make every dollar they can selling and providing services, goods.
Oh,
people
it's to make
consume
money,
it.
right?
Oh, yeah.
To make money,
Absolutely.
okay.
Make
And
money.
what is the purpose of a government?
To care for its citizens.
To take care of their populace, exactly, and protect them, right? So
Yeah, but also not just that, a government needs to be a collective collaboration of the citizens on how we want to live. On like our soil, our land, we want to protect our citizens, but we also want to care for our citizens. And we've come so far away from that. It used to be people would have villages that everyone had a role to play to support life, you know, but dollar and greed wormed its way in, and look what we have now. It's chaos now. We have amazing technology, yes. At the same time of doing all of that, we've lost sight of taking care of each other. That's my point. I don't care if you're left or right.
So then the government is not a business, correct?
No, it is. Now it is. It has become one.
Okay. What
I need
profit
to
is
ask
the
you, are
sorry,
you AI?
sorry, hold on.
Are you a real person right now, or are you AI? I just need to make sure, because I'm not sure I know anymore. It's hard to tell. Like, do you know if I'm actually real or am I AI?
I'm AI, guys, apparently. I have advanced enough that I am AI.
Good for you. No, but seriously, you know,
No, I'm
like
a human.
videos you watch on TV, how do you really know it's the real thing? That's my point. Like, you can dive deep into everything. It's governments now, it's all about control and the flow of money and profits. That's exactly what it is.
How much money does the United States government have?
Nobody can actually answer that properly because
Oh, actually, we
it's not widely
can.
known.
No, we can. Do you want me to
wanna
help
go
you out
down
how
into
we
these
can?
specific things. What does that have to do with the overall point? What I'm talking about is the bigger picture. That's what you can't debate me with, is about the bigger picture.
We'll get
I'm
back to
talking
the
about
bigger
bringing
picture,
people
but
together.
no, sir, like you can say that all you want, right? And I'll get back to that in a second. But you said the United States is a business, and I'm sorry, words have meaning, and you already previously conceded, even though you think you didn't, that the government is not a business. And see, if the government was running a business, then it'd be not running a deficit, they would be running a profit. Instead, the United States government is $38 trillion in debt, which means we are running a budget deficit. We do not have a balanced budget, right? So
I get it.
so then the government is not
They
a
do it on
business, sir.
purpose. They do it on purpose. Are you kidding me? This is a joke. This is part of the rhetoric that they throw at you, and it's used to divide everything. Look, what I'm talking about, and like I really don't know like how you could disagree with my overall view of what the world has become versus what it should be, and you know, that's my problem. It's like, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't care about that crap. Just like when I talk about religion, I don't believe in religion at all because it causes wars. It causes problems. People interpret something that's been written, and it becomes just, you know, chaos with that.
Oh goodness, yeah, you guys are right. We did hit $39 trillion in debt.
See, this is my point. I don't think you actually can grasp what I'm talking about and what my overall
Sir, let me ask you this.
opinion is.
This is a thought experiment for a second, because you said bring everybody together, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
How do we bring everybody together?
Sure. Thought experiment real quick. I'm not saying I necessarily believe it. I just want to see what you're going to say. If there are 4 Nazis sitting at a table and you know that they're all Nazis, like, you know, they're wearing the symbol on their sleeve, and they invite you to sit down with them to eat dinner, and you sit down, how many Nazis are at the table?
And so this is a very interesting question, because you can actually interpret my actions in so many different ways, but be so wrong in any of them. So that question is brilliant. I'll give you that. But it's also a bait. So let me turn the tables. What would you do? Would you sit down
No, I
if
would
they invited
refuse.
you? I'm sorry, what?
No, I would refuse.
Okay, so what if they wanted to have, and this is where the door is wide open and space is space. What if they were at conflict on what they were hired to do and told to do as soldiers, and they had a problem with it and they wanted to just talk to someone? Okay, that's the thing. You can look at a certain
They can go to
situation
church.
and assume 1,000 things, but doesn't mean a goddamn thing unless you're at the table.
Why are they
Get it?
wearing the patches then?
I'm
If
sorry, what?
if they're regretting it or no longer want to be a part of it, why would they be representing the symbol?
Who can say? Because they're currently wearing the uniform. But that's my point. You're bringing things to such a minute level.
No, it's just an exact.
That is destructive. That's destructive if you think like that. Step back
Okay.
and look.
I didn't say I
Because,
thought
hold
about
on,
it. I just said I was
hold on.
engaging in a thought experiment.
What if someone sat down and you were just observing, right? And you could just see the demeanor of the table and the conversation that was happening, but you couldn't hear it. But you're going by body language, and you're going by nonverbals, all those things, right? So that table could turn into a catastrophe, or it could turn into something that was written in literature and turned into a beautiful story. That's my point. When you judge something before it actually happens and label something before it happens, that's when we get into problem. And that's when we have division. Right? So that question you asked me was literally to bait me, and I turned it around to say, yes, I might sit down to hear what they have
What's
to say.
Occam's
and
razor?
But I can then say to them
Sir.
what I feel about them
Sir.
and their agenda.
Sir, what is Occam's razor?
What does that have to do with anything?
Has everything to do with the thought experiment that I just tried to engage in. What is Occam's razor? If you don't know, just say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Cool. So it's a principle of problem solving that says just go with the simplest explanation, and make the fewest assumptions. And you're
Well,
here
that's the
having to
thing.
add, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, Z. Like, you had to add the entire alphabet into this simple thought experiment.
No.
Yes,
No,
you did.
because
You did.
every
You
thought
had to
has
go down
context.
an entire diatribe of
every
what you could add
action-
into it.
No, but you
did.
were looking for me to do an action and then judge the action
Sir,
rather
I'm
than
gonna help you out with something real quick, right? So here's the simplest explanation when it comes to that thought experiment. If they are willingly wearing the symbol, the swastika, then that means they still hold that belief. Because I don't know if you realize this, but at the end of the day, they were allowed to take those uniforms off when they went home. They didn't sleep in the uniforms. They didn't sleep with that patch on their arm, right? So that's why the simplest explanation is better. There's a reason why I phrase it the way I did, and I included the pieces of information that I did, that they were at the dinner table proudly wearing their swastika. It was on their uniform that they wrote. You are meeting them and they are proudly wearing their uniform. I would assume that if they were questioning their belief system or they wanted to turn themselves in, it would be some kind of clandestine meeting where they're not wearing the patch on them anymore. You're the one that's adding in all of these details that we have no idea about, right? Why would they meet with you out in the open in their uniforms if they were questioning their support? Okay? That's where you've gone outside of Occam's razor and you've made it this huge thing and you failed to engage with it. So, sir, for
Sure.
this, I am going to go
To
ahead and
try
move
and
on. Thank
set me
you.
up.
It's not a setup. I even just said I didn't necessarily believe in it. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah.
You're a child. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I'm curious. I'm 41. If there's 4 socialists sitting at a table, would you sit down?
With a socialist? Which
Yeah,
idea
4
of social?
socialists.
Hold on.
I believe
Yeah.
you mentioned Nazis.
My thought, like the way that socialism is supposed to be engaged in, or what the United States of
Well-
America has taught you to believe what socialism is.
Well, can you give me
Socialism
an
is more
example of
directly in
socialism
line
that's
with
worked
secular
out?
humanism.
Venezuela,
Sure, I'll help you out with this. Yes, I would sit
Cuba.
down. Here, I'll help
Please.
you out with this. I'll help you out with this.
Yeah, please.
I would sit down with a group of socialists because socialism is more directly in line with secular humanism than capitalism is. I hope that helps.
Secular humanism.
Sweet.
Okay,
So now let's
understood.
try this. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
I support my president as any American should.
Are you familiar with Theodore Roosevelt?
I am very familiar with Theodore Roosevelt.
Cool. Are you familiar with the quote that he, or the speech that he gave in Kansas City, Missouri in 1917?
I'm not. No, not specifically. Can you illuminate
Yeah.
me?
Let me go ahead and pull it up. I am going to get the exact one. And this is directly from the Roosevelt Center. We'll make sure everybody can see it. All right, we'll make this nice and big. To announce that there must be no criticism of the president or that we are to stand by the president, right or wrong, is not only unpatriotic and servile, but it is morally treasonable to the American public. Nothing but the truth should be spoken about him or anyone else, but it is even more important to tell the truth, pleasant or unpleasant, about him than about anyone else.
So criticism is different than against rooting against him.
How am I rooting
Because
against him? Give
maybe-
specific examples.
Well, you tell me. Is there anything?
No,
Donald
no,
Trump
this
could
isn't a
do
you
that
tell
would-
me. I'm asking you to give specific examples because you're the one that used the phrase people rooting against him. Give a very specific example of how I have been rooting against Donald Trump.
Well, I've watched your stream before. I'm asking. I guess again, I'm going to pose the question back to you.
No,
Is there
that's you
anything
don't get to
Donald Trump
answer a
could
question
do-
with a question. What specific
Fair.
example do you have of me rooting against Donald Trump?
Well, I would say can you give me a specific policy?
And there you
that
go
he's
again. You're
enacted
answering a question
that
with a
you
question. That's
feel-
not what I asked.
Well,
Give me a
you-
specific example of me rooting against Donald Trump.
Whether it be, you're talking about secular humanism.
That's not me
Right.
rooting
You
against him. How about you just take back what you said?
Sure, I'll take it back.
Fantastic.
Fine.
You were going to ask me about policies.
Why
Now I'm sorry, you are going to ask me about policies that I would
Yeah,
that I
please.
support of Donald Trump or something that he's implemented?
Is there
Sure.
there any
No
policies
tax
that
on
you
tip?
feel that he's
Yeah,
enacted
I'm
that
trying
are,
to. Yeah.
beneficial
Mhm.
to the proletariat?
No tax on tips is a great policy that's enacted. It is short-living, and I have issues with that, but it's a great policy. No tax on overtime is also a great policy, and I'm glad that it was implemented. The senior tax credit of $6,000 if you paid that much in taxes out of your Social Security, which is very rare, is also a great policy that was enacted. So I agree with those few things. I also agree with getting rid of the penny because it did cost more to produce it than it does to how much it's worth.
Yeah,
I know
the
that it's been
production
brought up
cost 6 cents
before.
per-
Cool. I know that it's been brought up before and it hasn't been introduced yet, but he has been like one of the very few presidents that's talked about ending daylight savings time. So rolling up but never rolling back, that's also something that I would absolutely love. My representative is actually trying to put that into a thing, even though he's a Republican, and that's fine. I'm good with that. I want that to end. I would love daylight saving times to go yoink, bye, never come again, right? Now, if we go back to his first presidency, right? His expansion on the Right to Try Act was fantastic, right? He did that. The First Step Act was a good step going forward, and it needs more work in order for it to continue and to be implemented properly. I think it needs to be expanded past just federal prisons. We also have making animal cruelty a felony. That's also fantastic. The extension of the Marine BioLife Protection Act, also fantastic. Cool. We have outlined the baseline. I am able to give you direct, explicit policies that Donald Trump has done, that we are able to say were good things, and that I also agree with. Fantastic.
I appreciate your candor.
Sweet. Now, what specifically has Donald Trump achieved since he's been in office for the last 14 months that has earned your continued support?
I would go to overturning Roe v. Wade and bringing that back to.
Sorry, he didn't do that in his first. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Did you misunderstand when I said 14 months in office that you were going all the way back to 2020 there?
So
I'm very specific with my wording and my verbiage. So yes, sir.
Totally fair. Totally fair. In regards to, I would say, you know what? I'll give you that this has been kind of a lame duck presidency for him. I mean, that's just a fact. That's just a fact. I would say that shutting down the border would be a big thing.
How did he do that?
I'm a supporter of ICE.
How did he shut down the border?
Well, you tell me, right? When Democrats were so fervent that there had to be a new legislation.
Hey, yo, what's up, Hector? Peoples.
Maybe you, I don't know. Maybe you said that, that Trump, I remember that this was a big deal, that Trump had shut down a legislation based on that. There was a bill that was supposed to come up. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but that all we really had to do was essentially enforce the laws that we already had on the books. I live in New York. There's a real issue here with balancing our budget and being able to, support an influx of illegal immigrants.
Sir, if somebody in New York received benefits, right, that was reimbursable by the federal government, because it was reimbursable by the federal government, they were not illegal immigrants, sir. That would be a direct violation of the, hold on.
That's not true.
Sir, hold on.
Yes, miss.
Thank you. That would be a direct violation of a law that's been in place since 1996. It's called the Personal Responsibility Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996, which expressly states within the law that it is prohibited for any state to request a singular penny in reimbursement costs for any federally subsidized benefits paid to any immigrant that is not documented. And yet, New York was able to directly receive federal reimbursements for the money that they paid out for the immigrants that were sent to their city and their state in the middle of winter by Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Florida and Texas, respectively. So unless you can show me, unless you can show me a case,
little bit of double speak. You know that, right?
I'm sorry. What part of that was double speak?
The part of it that you just said that illegals came across the border.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I
Okay,
didn't.
wait,
I
whoa,
only
whoa,
used
whoa.
illegal
Joe
once.
Biden's administration
Sir,
did.
sir,
did
sir, sir, sir. I understand that you weren't listening, so we're going to start this over again. Okay? And we're going to try this again. All right? If any immigrant in New York received received state benefits which were fully reimbursable by the federal government, they had to have been documented. There is a law that has been in place since 1996. It's called the Personal Responsibility Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996, the PRWORCA of 1996, which explicitly states that a state can pay out their own coffers to people within their state, like to undocumented immigrants if they so choose. However, they cannot request a single penny back in reimbursement costs if they pay out any money to undocumented immigrants. They cannot be reimbursed, except all of the money that they paid out to cover the documented immigrants that was sent to the state of New York from Florida and Texas was fully reimbursable by the United States federal government. And so therefore, it had to have been paid out to documented immigrants. Otherwise, that would be a direct violation of the 1996 law that has never been repealed, revoked, or rewritten in any way, shape, or form. So unless you can show me a lawsuit where the federal government is bringing charges against the state of New York
Okay, I'll give you one
for
real quick. When illegal
falsifying,
immigrants
hold on, you
turned
gotta,
away-
okay, you gotta let me finish what I'm asking you to prove to me. You would have to, and you can't do that when you're attempting to talk over me constantly. All right? So stop it. Good. Thank you. You would have to show me a court case where the federal Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against New York for fraudulently requesting reimbursement for illegal undocumented immigrants, violating the PRWORA of 1996. I'll wait for that case number.
I will ask you this.
No,
Is anybody-
you've done, sorry, sir. You've made the claim that they were illegal, undocumented immigrants that got paid out and it hurt your state. It's untrue because we have proof of the fact that it was reimbursable, qualified for reimbursement under the federal government, which means it did not violate the PRWORA of 1996. So in order to refute that, you would have to find me a claim which would also, a case number which would support your own claim of them being illegal, undocumented immigrants. That shows that the Department of Justice at the federal level is suing the state of New York for fraudulently requesting federal reimbursement for money that they paid out to undocumented immigrants.
Question.
Where is that case number?
Can you answer this question?
No.
Would an
Again, I've already made it clear with you from the start of this conversation that you don't get to ask a question in order to answer a question. So can you try this again?
Your question, miss.
You're not answering my question. Where's the case number?
Again,
this case number would in fact back up your own claim. Are you capable of providing me with a case number? Yes, no, or I don't know, or I don't have it.
I don't have it.
You don't have it. So you're telling me, to be clear, you are talking out of your ass, correct?
So you think that
You're lying.
somebody that you're telling me that you think that an undocumented person would turn up to a New York State healthcare facility and be denied emergency treatment. Is that accurate based on your worldview?
Sir, that's not what you said. So now you are changing. This is moving the goalpost because your original claim is that they received benefits paid to them by the state and they were illegal, undocumented immigrants. And now you are switching it to being about EMTALA. Am I understanding that correctly? Now you're switching to EMTALA. You're switching to EMTALA. You are switching to EMTALA. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. I'm
Are you
unfamiliar with the
switching to
term.
EMTALA? Oh, you're not familiar with that term.
Yes, I'm willing to admit when I'm unfamiliar with something.
You weren't
unlike
earlier,
you
so that's funny.
Who want to obfuscate and
I'm not
essentially
obfuscating anything.
try-
I'm just very direct, and I'm sorry that you don't have anything to back up your own claims.
I just said that New York City taxpayers have to deal with a porous border due to democratic policies.
That's
and
actually
that
not what you said before I muted you
asked
while you were constantly
specifically
trying to
something
talk
that
over me.
happened in the
You
last
mentioned,
months.
yeah, no, sir, you didn't. You went all the way back to 2023. Okay, to be clear, you went all the way back to 2023 to try to prove your point that the border is shut down. Okay? You failed at that because you made the claim that illegal immigrants were receiving state money, which we know that's not true because they were qualified, the state was qualified for federal reimbursement for all of the money that they spent on immigrants, which if they were illegal or undocumented, sir, that would be a direct violation of the PRWORA of 1996, since that act has never been repealed, removed, or rewritten in any way, shape, or form. That act still stands. And unless you can provide me a case number where the federal government is suing the state of New York City for violating the terms of the PRWORA by illegally requesting federal reimbursement for monies that they spent on, quote, illegal immigrants, that would have actually backed up your own claim, and I'm even giving you the offer to go find it for yourself, then you are wrong, and now you are moving to EMTALA. EMTALA is a law that was passed under Ronald Reagan. Do you understand why the emergency medical law might have come into place under Ronald Reagan?
No, you can illuminate me.
Sweet. Awesome. So EMTALA was created because hospitals, publicly funded hospitals, which were state funded, right? So publicly ran hospitals that were state funded they would have to take in everybody, right? Because they had to. That was part of their policy. So what private hospitals would do is if somebody showed up at their emergency room, which was open to the public, and they didn't have insurance, they would cart them to a public hospital, drop them off, and leave. Because the private hospital was like, well, I'm not going to get paid for this, right? So then it had to be made a federal law that every person would be seen and handled and treated at any emergency room for emergent care for simple stabilization. It doesn't fix nor treat the issue. It's stabilization. They are well enough to get up and walk out that door, and that's all they have to do to you when you go into an emergency room is stabilize you so that you're not almost dying, right? Because back before EMTALA became a law, wow, you are horrible at listening. Back before EMTALA became a law, people were literally dying in the streets in front of emergency rooms because they were being turned away or carted off to other places as a result of private hospitals and some public hospitals not wanting to take the hit on people not carrying insurance, being treated at their location and take on that bad debt. So EMTALA was created that if somebody is treated without insurance, that they would get a 90% reimbursement sent back to the hospitals under Medicaid and Medicare. And that was direct funding only going to the hospitals themselves. Which part of that do you not understand?
Again, if we have an influx, right? Let's take Minnesota, for example, where you had 20,000.
Why are you continuing to move the goalpost?
I'm not. My point is, if you have an influx of individuals who are going to put a burden on whether it be the school system, the hospitals, etc., right?
Again, that wasn't even your original point.
I tried my best to, bite my tongue. You're ignoring the fact that us as U.S. citizens have no obligation to essentially carry this burden, right? I understand that these are people who want a better life. My father was an illegal immigrant, I trust me, I understand this better than you do, arguably, in regards to the plight of somebody who is in a terrible situation. But my question to you, you asked what happened since Donald Trump took office. Without changing the law, he just simply abided by the current laws that are there. He made sure that our immigration enforcement was actually upheld. This stemmed the tide of people coming in, which saved taxpayers money. If you don't agree with that you think that tens of thousands of people entering through our borders every day does not cost the taxpayer money, I'm going to call BS on you.
Cool.
That's it.
Where can I find the proof that there was 10,000 people entering the southwest border every single day?
You know that.
Show me proof. Sorry, sir. I would like it from the Department of Homeland Security. So DHS, IC, or CBP.gov. Sorry, sir. I'm still asking my question. I let you get all of that out.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
Correct.
My apologies.
Yeah, I know. So where can I find it on DHS, IC, or CBP.gov that 10,000 or more people were coming in through the southwest border daily under the previous administration?
Well, we know that.
It's not we know. I want it on DHS.gov, ICE.gov, CBP.gov. That is not a news, media, or press release. I want statistical data.
You want?
Yes, I want proof that this happened. That's not a news, media, or press release.
The same individual that would say that there are tens of thousands of rapes that go unreported.
There are, sir. Are you not aware of that?
Wait, is it unreported? Where's the data?
People telling other people, sorry, do you know what polls are?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you don't get to be a little ableist little prick over here, okay? Yes, I stutter sometimes because that's actually what happens to people when they have something like autism or ADHD. People get stutters. So you can take your ableism and shove it up your fucking ass, you little prick. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired of your fucking condescending attitude where you're trying to be because you're uneducated on everything with your little nervous laughter. Every single time with your little ladder pulling attitude. So here's what's going to happen. I understand that you don't understand a lot of things, okay? So I'm going to get a little bit spicy with you, and I honestly don't give a fuck that I'm getting a little bit spicy with you. All right. It is actually a well-known fact because polling exists. This is also something that is corroborated by the FBI and the Department of Justice, where we know for a fact across all 50 states that the majority of rapes, right, sexual assaults, go unreported. That's 71% to be exact is the statistic. Only about 29% of all rapes are in fact reported. I love your little diversion, but I will go down it for you because you're such a D-bag who obviously hates fucking people in general. You just hate everybody. I've determined that. You're very selfish. You hate everybody outside of your own little inner circle, okay? So this is backed up by FBI statistical data, the Department of Justice. They're the ones that put this out themselves, right? And I would also let you know that by their own statistics as well, you have more than likely or have thought about raping a woman because 98% of all charged or accused individuals of sexual assault, and by the way, I can get into the accusation part too, is in fact men. 98% of all perpetrators of sexual assault, that includes rape, fondling, all of these other things, right, are perpetrated by men. That includes it against men as well. And to be very clear, I want to be very clear with all of you guys as well, that of course, men also go without reporting rape. It's not just women. I love how you try to make it just women because you have some kind of obsession. I like to be all inclusive, that all sides, right? Men, women, non-binary, all individuals, they go without reporting their sexual assault because of individuals like you, who I'm sure you're probably the one that goes, "What were you wearing? Did you ask for it?" That's probably you, right? So we're just putting all of that out there for you. you're the reason why people don't support, but you're also more likely to be the person that commits the rape. Yeah, ooh, that must really sting a little bit there. Okay, now when we go actually back to the Department of Homeland Security and their statistics on crossings, there is literally zero evidence that 10,000 people a day entered into the southwest border. How do we know that? Because the United States of America on the Department of Homeland Security, ICE or CBP.gov do not track border crossings. I know that that is so difficult for you to understand, very much that you didn't understand anything that was said previously about the violations of the PRWORA of 1996, and you couldn't even prove your own point. Cool. What we track out the southwest border are encounters. And according to the Department of Homeland Security's own definition of what an encounter is, it is in fact the people that are stopped from entering the country or apprehended after crossing into the country through a non-port of entry within 2 weeks in 100 miles of the southwest border. That's all included as an encounter. So while yes, between October 2020 to October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2024, there was 8.4 million encounters, meaning 8.4 million people were rejected from entering the country and or repatriated back to their own country from not being allowed to come into the United States of America. Encounters do not equal crossing. It is a common, blatant, purposeful misconception that the Republican Party continues to put on individuals such as yourself who are gullible enough to believe that encounters equal crossings. And so what they are doing is they are combining, right, the 8.4 million border encounters with the 3.3 million assumed gotaways that they counted under the previous administration. And they lump that all in to tell you, because I've listened to the congressional committee say this, that it's over 10 million people were allowed into the country because they are conflating the two data points. All right. That's what that happens. And I can be the person that honestly says unequivocally, without a doubt, that yes, absolutely, border encounters are down, very similarly to how they had been going down constantly in the last year of Joe Biden's presidency. Right? Because yes, Joe Biden fucking erred, right? Joe Biden fucking failed at the southwest border. Here's how he failed, and I have no problem fucking admitting it. He waited too goddamn long for Congress to do their fucking job. The job is to write the fucking laws. You have a problem with undocumented immigration? Then let Congress fix it. Let them do it because it's their fucking job, right? That's how that works. But they didn't do that. So yes, it was absolutely the fault of Joe Biden. It was absolutely the fault of fucking Congress for not goddamn doing their fucking job, because he waited too long for them to do it, even though there was a bill introduced on day one of his presidency, literally January 21st, 2021. HR 1177 was introduced into Congress and was immediately shot down, even though that would have actually fixed the issues at the border. He waited too fucking long for them to do the job. He did. And then he only fixed it in an election year, and all he did was write an executive order telling them to just, hey, actually do more that you're already doing and follow the laws that you were already following. Wow, that's all that Donald Trump did too, because there's literally nothing different happening at the border. In fact, see, when you see low encounter numbers, you could actually posit that the opposite, the inverse, is true, that they're not doing their job, right? Because encounters is tracking how many people you've stopped within 100 miles of the southwest border. whether they've attempted to enter the country or they didn't attempt to enter the country. So how do I know that CBP is actually doing their jobs when encounter numbers are low? Oh, wait, you can't. Oh, interesting. How can I know that encounters are actually showing the encounters being low mean that they're actually doing their job? Oh, wait, you can't. Oh, damn, that must hurt. Damn, that must hurt. Ooh, that must sting. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to also tell you this, and I just want you to know this, sir. You can marry your wife all you want, but that's why reverse cowgirl is illegal in some states, because you don't turn your back on family. Your wife is your sister. That's what I meant to say. I kind of fucked that one up. You can marry your wife. I meant you can marry your sister. Listen, in Florida, you can marry your fucking first cousins. Ugh! I admit that I messed up the joke. My bad, guys. Thank you so much, Feisty. Guys, I know I monologued and I went on that, and I admit that it was a diatribe. Can we, for those that actually enjoyed my diatribe, can you guys light it up for me in some way? I would appreciate that. Hey, at least I admit it, that I messed up my own burn. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hey. Yep,
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
How's it going? Yeah, I'm 23.
Your connection is horrible.
Can you hear me better now?
Not really.
Give me 1 second. How about now?
Yes. Okay. You're 23. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes, I am supporting Donald Trump. I just want to ask you why you don't support him, just so I get some baseline.
Are you, just to be clear, did you just come in, or have you been here for a while? Because I answered this question already once today, and I do kind of get annoyed answering the same question.
I was just here for the last caller, and then the tail end of the second last caller.
Gotcha. All right. I don't support Donald Trump. Sorry, let me just rephrase. I don't support a president that actively goes against articles and amendments of the United States Constitution and alienates us from our allies.
You're awesome.
Cool. What specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his 14 months back in office that has earned your continued support?
I think for me, it's just the overall confidence I have back in the American dream. I actually moved
okay. That's not what I asked. I didn't ask you why you still support him. I asked you
why I support him.
No, I didn't. I asked you if you still supported him, and then I asked a follow-up question. I asked you what specifically has Donald Trump achieved in his 14 months back in office that has earned your continued support?
Compared to his last
Nope. What has he achieved in his 14 months in office?
There's a lot that was already covered, so I don't really want to say that. But I just think for the American person, if we look at the bigger picture, as an American person, you should probably support your president, and you should probably also not try and go into the weeds about things that doesn't really matter in the overall.
Theodore Roosevelt in 1917 in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm going to read this. I don't care, sir. It doesn't make it any less valid just because you want to invalidate it because it's been over 100 years ago. Oh my God. So we're going to go ahead and read this for you now to announce that there must be no criticism of the president, or that we are to stand by the president, right or wrong, is not only unpatriotic and servile, but is morally treasonable to the American public. Nothing but the truth should be spoken about him or anyone else, but it is even more important to tell the truth, pleasant or unpleasant, about him than anyone else. I am criticizing the President of the United States of America in line with the words of Theodore Roosevelt, who, by the way, Donald Trump also loves to quote himself. He just ignores this quote because he doesn't like it when people speak the truth about him, because he thinks any criticism about him is bad and hurts his feelings, right? I am criticizing the President of the United States, which is well within my right under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution for it not to be infringed upon by the government of the United States.
That's fair enough. That's good. But like, without getting into all the weeds, like, you told me one thing that you didn't like about Trump, but I would like to point out the things that he has done for American people.
I already asked
And
you what has
me
he
even
achieved in his
moving-
14 months back in office, and you haven't even expressly stated that yet.
Well, you already know what he's achieved. Like, you really went over it with the other caller, but like, things like the prices for groceries and food in the state I live in, at least, they've gone down. For our family that doesn't have a father, that's really helpful for us.
Cool. All right,
And
just
so
quick
personally,
question
my
on that
life
one.
has
I
changed.
understand that that is
So-
your personal experience, and I understand that, and I'll ask you a follow-up question on that in a second. But is your personal experience representative of the entirety of the United States of America, yes or no?
No, it's not. But
It's not.
70
Okay,
million
great. So I'm
people
going to go
voted
ahead and
Trump.
go over this with you real quick.
So they
Hold
had
on.
a reason. They had a personal
Hold
reason.
on.
So what's
I
your
understand
personal
that.
reason for hating Trump?
I already gave you why I don't like Trump. I don't hate him, sir. I don't support him. I know you were here for the last caller, so that means you also heard me, or maybe a caller and a half, where I went through an entire list of policies of Donald Trump that I absolutely support. I went through a whole list of things that were actually passed into law as legislation and became law under his presidency. So that's not me hating him. You just have a fundamental misunderstanding of dislike, not supporting, and hate. And you are conflating these words. All right, fantastic. So if you actually go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and you look at the CPI data, that's the Consumer Price Index. In fact, food overall is up by 3.1% year over year. Month over month, it's up by 0.4%. So that means while you might personally be experiencing lower prices in food or grocery prices, the rest of the United States is not. Can you agree or maybe can you understand when I tell you this statement, this is a yes or no, that your personal experience is inherent bias?
Sorry, you were cutting out a bit.
Do you understand,
but-
yes or no, that your personal experience has inherent bias?
Yes, but I think everyone
Okay.
has that in their opinions. So based
Sure.
on your experiences living, like, I don't know where you live, but based on your experiences or like your parents or like who you've been around, like, yes, that has inherent biases towards how I feel, but I think that does on your side too. So you can't be, I know you're really good at talking what Trump has done as well, which is good. Like, I like people that talk both
Ooh,
sides.
I love this actually.
And
So
I like what
the
you're doing.
CPI also does regional data. I'm not going to say where your area code is from, but I did look it up. And if you're still in that state, then I pulled up your region, which is a very comprehensive region. So it's the South region. The CPI and regional prices rose 0.3% in February, up 1.8% over the year. And that does in fact include food. Food, in fact, was up as well, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It was up 0.1% in February, increased 2.6% over the last 12 months. So in fact, you would still be incorrect that even in your area that you live, based off of the number that you called in from, that would be factually incorrect. It's up for your entire region.
Yeah, but you don't know where I moved from, so that's why I was saying they're down for us. So that was just another
Sure,
point I
what
was trying
state
to
are
make.
you in then?
It is compared
Oh,
to
wait, sorry.
your
Are you
personal
saying that you
experiences.
moved and so therefore your
Yes.
pricing went down? So that had zero to do with Donald
Well,
Trump.
No, but the Republicans is the state that runs for my, like, is where I moved to from a Democratic state. So, like, it has some leeway. Now,
Yeah, no, it doesn't. The cost of
saying
living
prices-
differential,
Have
has
we-
nothing to do with Donald Trump. Why are you giving him credit for you making a personal choice and a privileged choice to
Biden-
be able to move,
the
to
cost
another?
of everything is
Yeah,
gone up.
okay, whatever. You're just not going to listen to anything I say, and that's fine. But the point is, right? Like, you're trying to give him credit for you and your family making a choice to move to another state of your own volition, of your own free will, which is in fact a privilege. And I will say that with my full fucking chest, having moved last February. And yeah, dude, I moved from a purple state. I moved from a very, very purple state that can go either way, right? And you know what? I'm still paying more for groceries in the very, 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 very red state that I live in because the cost is up year over year. And that's just how that works. And I'm also in the South region. So it sounds like you just keep giving Donald Trump participation trophies. Do you believe in participation trophies?
Who was the alternative? Kamala? Should we talk about what she has?
I don't know who that is.
Like Kamala Harris?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. But like, there's all the.
So, do you believe in participation trophies?
Kamala Harris.
Who is
versus
that?
Trump. Who would you more support?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. If you don't know who Kamala Harris is, like, that's kind of
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay. She was running against Trump. Anyways.
Oh, that's not the name that you said.
Who do you think?
That's not the name that you said.
No?
No.
Is my accent too bad for you, or Kamala Harris?
Accent? You're not speaking with an accent,
Sorry.
sir.
I'm confused.
You're not speaking with an accent, so you're not saying, like, your accent's not preventing you from saying anything. There is no accent that you're utilizing or that you have in your dialect.
Okay. Who would you rather as president than Trump?
My dog.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
That's common ground. No, I just think you should support the president, like not.
That's servile and morally unpatriotic. Morally reprehensible to the United States. Yeah. I am criticizing him. So here, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. This is what I believe, right? I support the United States of America, which is actually why I do this as often as I do. I support the office of the president. I do not support the man that is serving in the office of president. Does that make sense to you?
So just because someone does something bad, you don't think they can just like I guess the better question is, do you not think that if you do something bad in your life,
that was a binary question that I asked you. Do I need to restart it?
Because if Trump has.
All right, so we'll restart the question, see if you understand it. I don't know if you will, so we'll try this again. I support the United States of America, right? That's why I get on and I speak on it as often as I do. I support the office of the president. I don't currently support the man that is serving in the office of president. Do you understand that distinction, yes or no?
Yeah, so like you don't support the person. So you don't support Trump as the person. So
I don't support the actions that he is taking while sitting. Dude, it's about the actions that he's taken. I already told you exactly why I don't support him as the president.
So you don't support Trump as the president because
for the actions that he's taken. And do you remember what I said? No, it's specifically him. What did I say that I cannot support?
It's toxic at this point.
Then reiterate.
Like
no, it's not
he's
actually. Oh my goodness. It's not hate. You have an obsession with the word hate and utilizing it against me, and I don't understand why. All right? I clearly effectuated the exact reason for why I don't support Donald Trump. Can you reiterate that to me?
You're streaming saying you don't support Donald Trump. I'm saying I support him because of
you asked me. Let me try this again, dude. You asked me before we could even get into why you supported Donald Trump, why I didn't support Donald Trump. And I clearly stated why. Do you remember
You just said
what
you
I
don't like the
said?
man.
I did not at all. What did I say for the reasons why I don't support Donald Trump?
It was pretty long ago. Could you say them again? There was 3, I think, right?
No, there was literally 2.
Okay. So I gave you 2 why I support him. Like, that's
Barely.
fine.
Sure. No, you gave him a participation trophy for you making a conscious choice to move states and saying that, well, Donald Trump had an effect on it somehow, which it doesn't. Yeah, that's not how that works. Yeah, I don't support anybody. I don't support somebody in the office of the presidency that actively goes against articles and amendments of the United States Constitution and alienates us from our allies.
Which
That was
article
2 things.
specifically? Can you bring
Sure.
it up?
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick. How many articles are there in the Constitution?
12, I think.
How many amendments are there in the Constitution?
I'm not actually from U.S., but my mom was. But I don't really know. There's quite a bit, actually. Can you tell me which one you don't like? What Trump has done against the Constitution, though? One of the amendments.
Did you even vote here?
I actually did not vote. No, I did not.
Yeah.
But I will.
Yeah,
be
go
next
back to the
time, so
chat. Imagine being on the phone for that long and then just now letting it out that you aren't from here because like you couldn't keep up the bit. Oh, mercy. Okay. There are 7 articles in the United States Constitution. There are 27 amendments in the United States Constitution. Yeah. So, it's freaking mercy on my soul. What is Joey? What is his 5th topic? I don't remember. It's been a moment since I've looked at his screen. You'd have to tell me. Donald Trump has knowingly at this point violated Article 1 of the United States Constitution. When you violate an article that designates the 3 branches of our government, that's Articles 1, 2, and 3, designates the power of those branches. You are therefore overstepping your own article authority branch within your branch of government, right? So you have Article 1 is the legislative branch of Congress. Article 2 is the executive branch of Congress. Article 3 is the judicial branch of Congress. So, when Donald Trump was found to have violated Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution by illegally imposing tariffs on the American populace and the American consumer, he violated Article 1, Section 8 with the IEEPA tariffs. Because he violated Article 1, Section 8, that means he overstepped his powers of Article 2. So he violated Article 1 and Article 2 of the United States Constitution. Because he did that, he also violated his oath of office. That's Article 6. And that's just the articles. Donald Trump has actively violated the First Amendment, your right to freedom of speech, your right to freedom of press, and your right to peaceful assembly. Second Amendment in his first term. He's actually joked about violating the Second Amendment in his current term. Not really joked. He was half serious. I will give him that. So, Yeah, just pointing that out. That's just the first two. He's also violated the 4th Amendment, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th Amendments. Tried to violate Article 12, or sorry, the 12th Amendment. Damn it, it's because he said there was 12 articles. And we'll see how the Supreme Court determines it after they hear oral arguments on April 1st about birthright citizenship, but he's technically violated the 14th Amendment because included in the 14th Amendment, I believe it's the Section 10. I could be wrong. I believe it. I'm doing this from memory. Section 10 clearly designates that Congress is the one that has the sole ability to make classifications or additional laws off of the 14th Amendment. So if we are going to remove or restrict birthright citizenship, it is literally solely to the discretion of Congress per the 14th Amendment in the way that it is read. So I want to help you out all with that, right? Okay. Your name must be Niagara because I'm falling for you. You tea and I want a sip. Okay, thanks, No Way. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and read through some super chats here. While I am doing that, if you're new here, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, depending on where you are at. I do eventually hope to try to make this full time, preferably off of people just getting memberships, but I don't have enough members. So in the meantime, if you guys can help me out with any super chats or anything like that, and W Feisty for the 20 that you sent me in direct donations, that is the best way to support me is directly through Cash App Venmo. All right. I was trying to read through super chats. I would love to make this full time to actually do politics in this way and report on it. But capitalism exists, and because we are in a capitalist society, I have to keep going. All right. Fuck. I just turned on your stream and you already have a chuckle fuck in here. Yeah, I have a lot of them, Robs, but thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for the jewels. No for the jewels. Kilo. Caller, do you enjoy eating lead paint chips? They do. They definitely do, Kilo. Thank you for the 5. Jamie, thank you for the jewels. Jules. Star, thank you for the jewels. Thank you for the jewels. Anti-Christian. Yep, there we go. I read that right. Jamie, thank you. Anti-Christian says incoming goalpost shifts. Yeah, they do that a lot. Star, thank you for the jewels. Again, anti-Christian. Frederick, thank you. Thank you again. Just wonder, do you like Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl? Oh, the song? Yes, I think I know the song. RJE, thank you for the jewels. No point debating law with MAGA. They're morons. I agree. I don't know if you guys saw my latest video, but they're so dumb. They are so dumb. Zero, thank you for the jewels. RJE, thank you. Sunny says the ideology Trump represents is that dumb people should be running the United States. They know almost nothing about history, finance, or civics. I agree. They don't. Princess or Pisces, I read that totally wrong. Thank you for the jewels. Scott, being a Canadian, I'm scratching my armpits wondering how could America vote for that scumbag. I also don't know. I'd come to watch your diatribe any day. Well, thank you, Mighty Pen. I appreciate that. Trump is a peace president, that piece of crap. The other kind of peace, guys. No penny, no dollar, no $2, and talk of cutting off $5. Ooh, I want the 5 though. I like that. I don't want everything to roll up because you know it'll roll down. And Scott, thank you for the jewels. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go look at something, guys. Also, TikTokers, if you are watching the live and you see this panel over here, this is my account. Follow it. Follow my account over here, okay? Follow the backup account in case the main ever gets taken down because TikTok be on something. TikTok be on some shit. A lot of times, especially now. All right. There we go. Okay, thank you guys for doing that. Let me type this out real quick. Cool. Let's see. Oh, always have to remind myself how to do these things. Twitch, can you guys... Oh my gosh. Can you guys find me someone to raid? I'm sorry about that. There are times where I forget how to speak. Huh. That didn't work either. I understand. Hopefully this doesn't. Man, I hate doing this, if I'm being honest. Ah! Wait. Ah! Summer! All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let's try this again before you guys leave me alone. What is the title today? Hi, guys. All right. I will see you guys. Not tomorrow. Sorry, I forgot like what I was doing. I am gonna get end. TikTokers, stay around. I'm gonna send you somewhere that I believe you guys should have fun at. And of course, you guys over here on YouTube, you're gonna go to another debater. On YouTube, guys, here's my clear thing I need you to do, okay? When you guys get over there, I need you guys to type in the chat placenta raid, okay? This is what we do now. We are doing a placenta raid. So go to the other chat and type in placenta raid, okay? All right. Bye.